So let's start with the red thing, which is the industrial internet. There is connectivity all over, but there is a lot of work that needs to be done beyond connectivity, beyond information technology, beyond cloud, and beyond just data collection, collation, and consuming. So if you look at it, the industrial internet, which would be a mixture of intranet, internet, and cloud, would give an edge for improving the supply chain, improving the in-house production line, improving the in-house automation, and improving the inventory management to just-in-time kind of business models. Because ultimately it's all about cost. It is all about return on investment. It is all about the total cost of ownership. And if we are agile and if we can manage that very well, we can be more profitable. While technology is a great enabler, it all boils down to the commercials and ultimately the profitability of anything new that we will be doing in the future or what we are doing today. So big data is again a big thing that we have been talking about, like how we were talking about cloud some 6 years back, 6-7 years back. Big data has been there for probably 4 or 5 years now. And then the industrial robot, which is mainly the automation, which is mainly helping in improving the efficiency of a production line, and clubbed with 3D printing, which is helping us in customizing some of the products which would not go into mass production. And knowledge work automation. There are a lot of ways in which the knowledge is being automated as well. And then, of course, industrial security, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are actually taking the lead as we speak. So these are the 9 technical backbones of Industry 4.0. And what does that actually mean? It means that we need to align with these 3 main verticals or 3 main buckets, which you see in the different color, which is smart production and service, digital supply chain, and productive customer insight. This would encompass everything that we would be doing now and what we would be doing in the future. So it's about not just procurement, it's not just about production, it's not just about information technology to support, it's also about a lot of analytics that would help us to reach to the consumers, the customers, and do our marketing, branding, and advertising in the same gamut. So what does this all imply? It implies that information technology has become the backbone and will remain the backbone for not just enabling the different industry verticals, but also in taking the lead in connecting all the various different facets of smooth functioning of any areas or any department or any industry going forward. I would want to spend a little more time on how technology has changed and how technology has helped the businesses. If you look at from 1975 when we were in mainframes to what we are beyond 2015, the access to computing has changed, the application topology has changed, the reach has changed, and the business impact has improved beyond our imagination. From being reactive, we are being proactive and being responsive at the same time, because democratization of technology has helped all the industries to not just align themselves with the end consumer and the end customer, but has also helped in improving their research and development and faster time to market. The challenge has always been in the previous years or the previous era of the large time and effort that was being spent in getting the new invention or new technology into the market. Today, it is just at a click of a button. That's the business impact the technology has enabled and technology has provided us. So in this business world, information technology has helped create not just connected network, but a networked economy wherein everybody is connected, which would mean that the suppliers, the consumers, the customers, the manufacturers, your retailers, your business partners, and your employees are all connected in real time. Which means to say that I have access to information at a click of a button. So this leads to the connected world. So the connected world is all what we are experiencing today, and I don't have to go beyond anything that needs to be mentioned because we are all experiencing it. But what are the shift factors when it comes to job? Is it just the technology? Is it just the process? Or is it just the people? Or is it everything combined? I think it is everything combined that is leading to the shift in the jobs and shift in the way jobs are being created. So let's little bit rewind back to what Karl Marx said when he was at the helm of things and still influences a lot of our thought process, which is in the year 1818 when he was born till the time he left the world in 1883, he did a lot of work on the labor side. So what he had mentioned then holds good even today, and I will little bit explain what it is. He said the worker's existence is thus brought under the same condition as the existence of every other commodity, which means to say that the worker's existence or a worker is a commodity. And it further goes to say is the worker has become a commodity, and it is a bit of a luck for him if he can find a buyer. Now, commodity is bought, but an employee or a worker is given a job. So he's saying an individual would be lucky enough to find a buyer, and the demand on which the life of the worker depends on the whims and fancies of the rich and the capitalists. This was what he mentioned at that point in time. And I think it holds good even today because of a lot of changes that have happened and technology leading the change and we being part of the change. So let's go a little further in understanding this little more. For that, I would want to refer to the India Skills Report 2019. I will talk about India Skills Report 2020 as well, but that would not be relevant because 2020 is almost a washout. I would want to delete 2020 from my calendar. I don't have a choice, but there is a lot of learning from it, and we have got a lot of time for ourselves wherein we can align ourselves to what is needed for the future. But what I would want to bring your notice to is basically the things that I have circled in the red, which says almost 40 to 50% of existing jobs which are transaction heavy would get automated. Yes, which is a mundane routine stuff that can be automated, will be automated, and we will not need any people to do such jobs. Machines will do it for us better. The key sectors which would see this change are IT, financial services, manufacturing, transportation, packaging, and shipping, which means to say that there is a lot of automation that has already happened and will keep happening in these sectors. And the report goes to say, and if the early trends are to be believed, that is what is evident. roles of a data entry clerk, which is long gone, cashier, we don't need it, financial analyst, telemarketer, customer service executives, manual work operators, executives, factory workers, retail sales, advertising and salespersons are constantly getting disrupted. We are enabling the change that is happening. We as engineers, we as technology people are enabling this change to happen. But look at the impact. It is impacting 40 to 50% of existing jobs, which is scary. But let's take a closer look at this. Let's look at the next highlighting point that I have circled. It says we can get a sense by the fact that 40% of jobs which will be lost due to technological advancements amount to only 7% of the global wages, which means to say that only 7% of the money that was paid to these guys is being affected, which means to say that all these were low paying jobs. So all the low paying jobs are getting converted to technology driven, and with the help of automation, it is being eliminated to a large extent. Okay, so what would these folks who were doing this do? Probably they will have to learn new skills. They will have to look at how they will align with the new job requirements.